right away. I need you now. Hit me on my next till chirp. I heard it too. Should we slide this table over some? Every week. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put magnets until we get another one on the board, and then like magnetize them to the board, and then we can go over them every week. Compliments of Brother Delory. Brother Delory.
Mic check. All right, y'all, let's stand for prayer. Yeah.
He coming back?
Brother B, pray that Devin have a safe flight back.
Save it to the end, please.
A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
That's right. That's right.
All minds clear? Hallelujah. All right, I don't see no new faces. We head cover? Oh, okay. We good? All right.
At the quest.
This is Deuteronomy, or Devarim, chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael,
Shema Yisrael,
Yahuwah Eloheinu,
Yahuwah Eloheinu,
Yahuwah Echad.
Yahuwah Echad.
This is Exodus, or Shemot, chapter 20 and verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones against the Most High. We will not make any carved image or any likeness of that which is in Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them, nor serve them. For Yahuwah our El is a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children, to the third and fourth generations of those that hate him, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments. We will not bring the name of Yahuwah our El to nothing, for Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished, who brings his name to nothing. We will remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kodesh. 6 days we will labor and do all our work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahuwah our El. For in 6 days Yahuwah made Shamayim and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our fathers and our mothers, so that our days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything that is our neighbor's.
Father God, we give thanks for this day, Father. We give thanks for the gathering together of your people, Father, to be diligent and obedient unto your commandments, Father. We thank you for every soul that is gathered here today, Father. We pray and ask, Father, that your Ruach would be with us, Father. For your word says, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in your name, that you would be in the midst, Father. And we pray right now, Father, that when your word proceed forth, it will proceed forth without obstacle or hindrance, Father. That it may be received with thanksgiving and gladness, Father, and used for the uplifting and the upbuilding of your kingdom, Father. Father, we thank you, Father, for the Sabbath, Father, to be a mark between us and you, Father, to show who are truly yours, Father. And Father, we thank you once again. And all these things we pray and we give thanks. Bashem Yehovah, Wabekah, Yehoshua, Hamashiach, Ruach HaKodesh. So be it.
So be it. Right.
Test, test, check, test.
All week we've been going through a lot of battles, huh? All week we've been going through a lot of battles and struggles. We're going to have an exodus today. Hallelujah. Today we're getting outside ourselves. Today we're going to let the Ruach free us. We're going to let it all go. Cast our burdens, right? Deliver me, 'cause all I seem to do is hurt me. Hurt me. Forever.
Woo! That's how you pray. That's how you pray. Let's get into some folks here. You ready? Y'all don't look like y'all ready yet. Let's get one of the chorus first. Hey, check. Y'all don't look like y'all ready yet. Let me walk through here a little bit. Y'all don't look like y'all ready yet. Y'all know what this is. I'm gonna come to the back. I'm going to the back. Y'all ready? Let's go. how you pray. I want that same energy every week. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Check.
I think it might be because of that, like not because of that working on
Coffee.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
How's everybody today? Good? Yep. Oh.
I just asked about that coffee.
Clean up on aisle one.
Clean up on aisle one. Can we get some help expeditiously?
Get on the boat.
Us to endorse these, we're trying to see if they work.
Thank you, gas and coffee. Smell of the day. This is bees here.
crazy.
Boy, don't think me up there drinking anyway. At the table.
I forgot it good.
I'm gonna get some.
Oh.
You are the universe. You are
Thank you, sister. Get that smell from up here. I can't stand it.
and you are the universe. You are.
I put some in the freezer. I put some in the freezer.
One more dry time. didn't think they was gonna sing it. Well. I lost my voice on that one.
All right.
Like 10 of them things.
Any visitors in the building? No visitors? No. First time visitors.
We do have a brother in the back.
One brother.
Got his hand up.
And now,
No.
for your listening pleasure,
We have You're All I Need by
Back for the first time.
No. The pressure.
Back for the first time.
right back like
All right, y'all.
What?
Shabbat Shalom. That was cool.
Yo, you gotta do it 3 times.
You gotta do it 3 times. Shabbat Shalom. That was a little better. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, I guess the third time is the.
One for the Father, one for the
Boy say one for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Spirit. To the paganism.
the Trinity.
Oh man. All right, y'all. How y'all doing this week? Do we got any visitors? No. Huh? That brother said he's a new creature. That's right.
I see y'all back there. Y'all, everybody was getting them plates. The fan, we're gonna have to get some of them, them fans with the put Trav face on it.
Wow. Blasphemy.
Promoting the funeral home.
Great, a new host.
So this is my first time back in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta bear with me. I'm a little nervous.
All right.
Everybody say a quick prayer for me right now.
Take your time. Take your time.
All right, let's get right into it, man. Anybody remember the question that I asked last week? Right after service.
They forgot.
Going to work about
Rushing.
Your routine, going to work. Who rushes to go to work? And be honest. Do you get up like, but I gotta hurry up? Who rush? Rush. We got a couple honest people. Okay, who got a routine that does not require them to rush? Okay. Yeah, your routine does not require you to rush. You got time. Okay. Y'all. All right. Now, for those of y'all that do rush, why do you rush? Unprepared? Okay. Wake up too late? That's like one of the main ones, right? How many of y'all got an alarm for the alarm?
It's called a snooze.
So you set an alarm at 6:30, then 6:35, then 7, because you know the one at 7, you gotta get up. How many of y'all consider that preparation?
Set your alarm.
That's preparation? Yeah, it's out of pocket.
That's why you set 2.
That extra 5 minutes feel like an extra 2 days. All right. Hold on to that thought. All right. For those of y'all that wake up late in the morning, why do you wake up late? Mama say, because she can. You have every right. Okay? What'd you say, Out? Because you be tired. Anybody else? Overslept. Lazy. Slow. Hold on, y'all. You don't want to go. Okay. Whose excuse is because I was drinking Hennessy the night before? or wine, right? We got some honest people in the crowd. I see you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, honesty is the best policy. Okay, so when we look at getting up in the morning, and the reason why I'm talking about this routine is for a reason, right? It's for a reason. So let's get on into this thing. The title of this is called The Importance of the Dew. The importance of the dew, the D-E-W. The importance of the dew, right? Right? Oh, because she comes strolling in. We just talking about being on time. That's all good. No, she ain't put the finger up high to get this. She was like this. The finger? That's the excuse me. That's right, you made it.
Put it in the bottom. The bottom.
All right. This is entitled The Importance of the Dew. Right? Do anybody know what the dew is in the scriptures? What's the dew? The D-E-W, not the D-U-E.
Know what the dew is.
Not that dew. The other dew.
Not the Mountain Dew.
Who said it? You said, I heard you said blessings, right? We seen this through the lesson last week, right? That the dew are the blessings. What if I told you that the dew was about something else as well? Would y'all believe me?
Show me.
What'd you say, Al? You said no? Who said no? Nobody said it? Oh, show me. Who said show me? You said show me. That's exactly how we supposed to do. BCV. What's that? Book, chapter, and verse. So, the title of this is The Importance of the Dew. The importance of the dew. Matthew 12 and 36. Anybody know? No, we get into that in a minute. Matthew 12 and 36.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, at verse 36.
36.
36.
Matthew 12, 36.
Yeah.
We got his Ja Rule on.
You'll never find.
Tell me a secret. The book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 36. You said 36? 36.
Matthew 12 and 36.
A little bit more. Push a little more. One second, John.
Yo.
What that? That Joe C.
Right here.
Yeah, let me see that. Yeah, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in
Every
the
idle
day
word
of
that who
judgment.
shall speak? Every word that who shall speak? Men. Who gave this decree? Who said this? Mashiach. So he said, every word, every idle word that men shall speak, they shall do what? Give an account. So you got to be careful with the things that you say, right? Because it's going to be recorded, and you be dealt with for, right? So read that again.
But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified.
For your words you shall be what?
Justified.
Justified, right? Justified is a good thing, yeah? And by your words you shall be what?
Condemned.
Condemned. So, moving forward, make sure you watch what you say. But with him saying that every idle word that men shall speak shall come into judgment, does that mean that every word that the Most High speaks has meaning? Yes. Absolutely, right? So nothing that we read in this scripture can we just overlook, right? So when we're talking about the do, right? How many times have we just overlooked it, right? Just overlooked. Matter of fact, get the joint Genesis 27 that you went to last week. Genesis 27, 28. We're talking about the blessings. How many times we overlooked this thing?
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 28. Therefore, Elohim give you of the dew of Shamayim.
He give you of the what?
Of the dew of Shamayim.
What do that mean? Say it again. Blessings. He says he gives you of the dew of Shamayim. How many of y'all ever just thought about that? Like, what is that? Or did you just keep reading until you seen the stuff? Right? So he said, this is the first thing that he told you he was going to bless you with. He said he shall give you of the what?
Of the dew of Shamayim.
And what else?
And the fatness of Eretz.
Everybody say, oh, see the fatness of the earth. We got the fatness of the earth. But never paid attention to the dew. Read.
And plenty of corn and wine.
And what?
And plenty of corn and wine.
Plenty of corn and wine. We look at the blessing part as everything after the dew. When the dew was the first thing that he mentioned. Read.
Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brother, and let your mother's son bow down to you.
So who is he giving this blessing to? Who giving this blessing? Who's giving the blessing? Who's receiving this blessing? Jacob, right? All right. So check this out. The children of Israel were likened unto that woman in Songs of Solomon. Yes? Y'all remember that whole spiel? I need y'all to hold on to that because that is an essential part of what we're talking about today. Me and Quab ain't talk about this while I was out of town. We ain't try to put these together. It just happened. So I need y'all to hold on to that. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. So we're going to look at the dew. We also got something else to look at today too.
The book of Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. Mm-hmm. I have also spoken by the prophets.
I've also done what?
Spoken by the prophets.
I've also spoken by the prophets, right? What you read and what you see in the scriptures. You're reading from the who? From the prophets, right? I've spoken by the prophets, read.
And I have multiplied visions.
And I have multiplied visions, go ahead.
And used similitudes.
And use what?
Similitudes.
What's a similitude? A resemblance of something. Something to forecast or show you something else, right? A metaphor, if you will, right? Read.
And used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets.
So through the prophets, we gonna see similitudes of who? Of the Messiah, the coming Messiah. Everything that we deal with in these scriptures is about the coming Mashiach, what he had to do, and him giving everything back to the Most High. We agree? So even when we talking about the dew, we got to pay attention because it's something about him in the what? In the dew. Right? Songs of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. Matter of fact, before you read that, Quab, get Psalms 55:17. Psalms 55:17.
Psalms chapter 55 and verse 17. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice.
Now, remember, nothing in the scriptures is idle. Everything means something. Everything is for a reason, right? So he says, when are the times?
Evening and morning and at noon
Evening, morning, and at noon. What is he going to do?
will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice.
He said he might hear my voice.
He shall hear my
He
voice.
shall. That's an absolute, yes? That's not something to leave up to chance. Why is he so sure? And what does that have to do with the dew? We're going to find out. Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. We're going to get songs right after this. Hosea 5:15.
The book of Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
Who is this speaking? Mashiach. He said, I'm going to go and I'm going to return to my place until what?
Till they acknowledge their offense.
Until what?
They acknowledge their offense.
Until they move out of the country because they're afraid what the government going to do to them. Huh? There's a lot of fear out here nowadays. Right? When he say he coming? When you do what? When you acknowledge whose offense? Yours, not theirs. This country has been so bad to us. They did this to us, they did that to us. Why? Why are they doing it to you? Because of who? Us. So it's time for us to acknowledge what? That's the only way he coming. Not saying I'm going to pick up and move to another place where it's just going to be some more offenses that you got to.
Because the curses do what?
They follow you wherever you are. Get that fear out your heart. Don't look at what's going on out here and let fear start to settle in, because the Most High said, I didn't give you the spirit of what? I didn't put that in you. Because if you pay attention to the dew, we're going to figure that out. Song of Solomon, chapter 5. Pick it up at verse 1.
Song of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. I am coming to my garden, my sister, my spouse.
So this is who talking? Mashiach, right? Remember, he was saying this was his possession, right? His garden, his place, right? I am coming to my garden. Read.
I am coming to my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drank my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved.
Uh-huh.
I sleep, but my heart wakes.
All right, who was this speaking now? This was just last week, y'all. Who's speaking? Who got me the answer?
It's the woman.
This is the woman speaking now.
Israel, you.
Right? Children of Israel. Remember I told you, everything that he taught on about Israel in the most, or in Mashiach, on the grand scale, we're going to go deep into it and look on the individual level. All right? So he's in the garden, right? And then she says, I sleep, but my what?
But my heart wakes.
My heart wakes, read.
It is the voice of my beloved.
That do what?
That knocks.
It says the beloved, he knocks. Remember what we read in Revelation? He says, knock and what?
Yes.
He gonna knock and you shall do what? You're supposed to open up to him, right? But we got to pay attention to this particular part. Read.
It is the voice of my beloved that knocks, saying, open to me.
He said what?
Open to me.
That means he's stretching his hand out to you. He wants you to let him in. Right? Read.
Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, My undefiled.
For what?
For my head is filled with dew.
My head is filled with what?
With dew.
Wait a minute. His head is filled with what? With dew. Read.
And my locks with the drops of the night.
What is this? What are you talking about? We already understand one aspect was the what? The blessings. Right? If she had opened the door, what would she have received? The blessings, right? But what we remember, this is a physical thing that he's dealing with, right? So what is this dew that's on his head? Yeah. Get Job, huh? Protection? We're going to see. Get Job chapter 38. We got to come right back here. So, she mentioned that she was what? Sleep. But her heart woke up. Right? He was knocking on the door. Right? Beating on the door. Trying to get in. Did she beg him to come in? No. Wilma! Right? We got to understand the force behind what he was doing. He was trying to really get in. And he was reaching out to get in. Job 38. When I say, 38 verse 25. Let's see this.
The book of Job, chapter 38 and verse 25. Who has divided a water course?
Who has divided a what?
A water course.
A water course. See what it's talking about. Go ahead.
For the overflowing of waters.
For the what?
Overflowing of waters.
What is this talking about? What waters is this? In the earth, right? Read.
Or a way for the lightning of thunder. To cause it to rain on the earth.
Who's doing this? Who divided that? Who causing it to thunder on the earth? Who's doing this? Right? It's Yah doing this, right? Read.
Where no man is.
Where no man what?
Where no man is.
Go ahead.
On the wilderness, wherein there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground.
He said to satisfy the what now?
The desolate and waste ground.
Keep your thoughts on desolate and waste ground. Right? Read.
And to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth.
Cause the what now?
The bud of the tender herb to spring forth.
The bud of the tender herb. This is what's springing forth. I want y'all to keep this in mind. Read.
Has the rain a father? Or who have begotten the drops of dew?
He said, who has begotten the what?
Who has begotten the drops of dew?
He said, do the rain have a father? Or who has begotten the drops of dew? What does this do? Rain? What does this do? Y'all real familiar with it. When I tell you, you're going to be like, oh, my goodness. Psalms 110, verse 3.
Remember, when he asks you questions, it's not a debate, so it ain't trying to trap you and trick you up. Straightforward questions.
Psalms chapter 110, verse
3.
Verse 3. Your people shall be willing in the day of your power, in the beauties of Kodeshness, from the womb of the morning.
From the womb of the what?
Of the morning.
From the womb of the morning. Read.
You have the dew of your youth.
You have the what?
The dew of your youth.
He said, from the womb of the morning, you have the dew of your youth. Anything coming to mind of what this dew could possibly be? He gave you 2 identifying markers. Say it again. Morning dew. Right? What is that?
You're beginning of your life.
No. Physically, what does the morning do? It covers the vegetation, right? In the morning. When you come outside in the morning, summer day. And what? And what happens to the vegetation, the grass and all? It get what? It get moist. It get wet. Have you ever tried to figure out what in the world?
It was 90 degrees yesterday, no rain. You come outside, you put your foot in the grass and it's wet. That's the morning dew. What's the significance? Is it food? Nope. Living water? Refreshing? Nourishment? I like all those. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 20. Covers the ground, right?
The book of Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 20. By his knowledge, the depths are broken up.
And the what?
And the clouds drop down the dew.
The clouds do what?
Drop down the dew.
The clouds drop down the dew. What's important about the dew? When do you see it? In the morning. Right? The dew comes down and you see it. Well, the dew comes down overnight. But you experience it when? In the morning. What's the significance? When did David say he prayed? Evening, morning, noon. Right? So what does this dew have to do with those prayers in the morning? We'll find out on the next episode of. Right? Go back to Songs of Solomon 5. Pick it back up at verse 2.
Song of Solomon 5 and 2. I sleep, but my heart wakes. It is the voice of my beloved that knocks, saying, open to me.
He's saying what?
Open to me.
Uh-huh.
My sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled. For my head is filled with dew.
His head is filled with what?
With dew. And my locks with the drops of the night.
Read.
I have put off my coat.
I what?
Have put off my coat.
Uh-huh.
How shall I put it on? I have
This is her talking now, right? I done took off my coat. What coat is this she talking about? Physically, not spiritually. We're dealing with physical right now. We get to the spiritual. Her robe. I done took my robe off. I'm asleep. Remember it says she sleep, but her heart did what? Her heart woke. So she was still in a sleep state, but her heart was woke. Kind of like when you make them 2 or 3 alarms in the morning where you like woke, but you ain't woke. You half sleep. Right? She said, I done put off my coat already. What else?
How should I pull it on? I have washed my feet.
I done already washed my feet. Read.
How should I defile them?
What I'm gonna get down and defile them for? The significance of that is where the place where we talking about. Many of y'all know about the east, right? It's a lot of what on the ground? Sand, right? So you go in the house, what you do? Wash your feet up, right? She's like, how am I gonna defile them again? You want me to get up out my bed? Read.
My beloved put in his hand by the hole of the door.
By the what?
By the hole of the door.
He trying to get in. Woman, would you just let me in? Read.
And my bowels were moved for him.
So she already knew I'm really supposed to get up. But when he said that the dew was on his head, what time of day is he there? He's there in the morning.
Touch your neighbor.
Right? And what is he doing in the morning? Saying what? Open to me. So my morning routine, people, are you letting them in? My people who wake up late and you got to rush to work, are you letting him in first? Because he beating at the door. He got his arm stretched out to you. All he wants you to do is what? And it's funny because David said, I'm going to pray evening, morning, and noon. And he what? Shall hear my prayer. Why? He there. He right there. If you just open up the door. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14. Why should he be the first thing in the morning that you deal with? Because he what? He woke you up. It do what? It set the tone for the whole day. The start of a thing is the what? If you started with him, then what? But what happens if you leave him out? Ephesians 5 and 14. Because remember, he said that he going to give you the dew of Shamaim. The dew was also the what? The blessings. So if you're not opening up to him in the morning, in what? In prayer, how could you expect for this man to give you? This is an appointed time. Not like Passover is an appointed time, and right? All this here, this morning prayer, this is an appointed time. You know why it's appointed? Because he there knocking on your door. You got a cable appointment from 11 to 2. If you ain't there from 11 to 2, what's going to happen? You're going to miss your cable appointment. He there in the morning. You get up and watch the news, though. Huh? You ain't letting him in because you're letting in something else. We're going to get to that because it's important. Because how many times do you think he going to come knocking before he cancel the appointment? Ephesians 5 and 14.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools.
Not as who?
Not as fools, but as wise.
But as what?
But as wise. Redeeming the time.
Verse 14.
Verse 14. Wherefore.
That's all the same book.
Wherefore he says, awake you that sleep.
He said, do what?
Awake you that sleep.
She couldn't get up, but her heart woke up. So she knows she's supposed to be up, just like you do. You know you're supposed to get up, but you got to get you about 5 more minutes. How many of y'all wake up before your alarm come on? Why do you think that happens? Who you think come on, man. Who you think doing it? But you waiting on your alarm because you got a routine. Right? Let's see what he say. Ephesians 5 and 14, he says, awake, what?
Awake you that sleeps, and arise from the dead.
And do what?
And arise from the dead.
And a what?
Arise from the dead.
And a what?
Arise from the dead.
Remember what Carl said last week. Sleep is the cousin of what? I need y'all to really keep this in your mental. This is real. So when he's waking you up in the morning, he's waking you up from what? From death. Why wouldn't the person that got you up from death be the first person you let in and say, what's going on? Right? But what happens if you continue to miss the appointment? Say it again, you don't wake up. Right? That morning prayer is so essential to your walk and to your salvation that, matter of fact, how many of y'all wake up in the morning and you know you got to pray, so you say, thank you, Father, for waking me up, I appreciate it. And then you go on about your day. It's rhetorical. You ain't got to say it out loud, but if you've done it before, because I have, right? And you think because you're supposed to pray when you get up in the morning, or when we say morning prayer, you think it's like, I can just say a real quick prayer real quick, and you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand that this man just woke you up from what? From death. He ain't banging on the door just to say, hey, and going about his business. We got to get Psalms, the 5th chapter. Remember, who said that they pray evening, morning, noon? David, right? Psalms 5. Psalms 5 and 1. Let's see how he prayed. But this is why you have to prepare your night. And this is why you have to be getting rest. Because the time appointed for the Most High is the time appointed for the Most High. When I was out in California, I would wake up every morning around 4 in the morning. And I was like, I just ain't got adjusted to the sleep schedule out here. It's 3 hours behind. You know what I'm saying? So it's usually 7 at home, you know. And then it kept happening. Then I was doing it at 6:35 in the morning. I ain't got to be to work till 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm just up. And after about a week, I'm like, Father, why you keep waking me up like this? And this is when I start to stumble upon this. Because it was a reason I had to spend my time. But we're going to get into it though. Psalms chapter 5. So for my quick prayers, right? I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to pray on the go. You got to, you know what I'm saying? But you have to understand when this appointed time is here, you have to make provisions for him. You don't make provisions for the job before provisions for the Most High. You don't make provisions for nothing else that concerns this life before him. Because you wouldn't have nothing else without him. Right? Psalms 5 and 1. Let's see how David prayed. What do you say?
Psalms chapter 5 and verse 1. A psalm of David. Give ear to my words.
He said what?
Give ear to my words.
Give ear to my word. Father, listen to what I'm about to say to you. What I'm about to ask you. Read.
Give ear to my words, O Yahuwah. Consider my meditation.
Consider my meditation. As if he don't got to. How many of y'all feel like you're entitled to him to listen to you? You ain't entitled to nothing. He said, consider. Right? Read.
Consider my meditations. Listen unto the voice of my cry.
Listen to the voice of my cry. The children of Israel didn't move from up out of Egypt until he what?
He cried out.
Until he heard us cry out. I'm not saying wail in the morning crying like some people would try to force you to do out here. But what I'm saying is you make sure that you're speaking to the Most High and you're intentionally doing it. He said, consider my meditations. What is his meditations? The things that's going through his mind, the things that he's thinking about all the time, right? Because he said, cast your burdens on what?
Me.
A lot of us don't wake up early in the morning because we so worried about other stuff at night that we can't sleep. Or we turn into, like the ox said, that Hennessy to drown out our problems. So when we wake up in the morning, we wake up hard. Even down to the stuff that you eat. If you're eating garbage at night, late at night, your body don't get the rest that it's supposed to. It got to work in overgear. So now you wake up sluggish because your body ain't went to sleep. When he says he promises rest to his believers. It's a lifestyle change when we talk about getting up in the morning. It's something as simple as getting up in the morning. This calls for a lifestyle change. Right? Go ahead.
Listen unto the voice of my cry, my King and my Elohim, for unto you will I pray.
So he acknowledged his stature. Right? Read.
My voice shalt thou hear in the morning.
My voice shall you hear when?
In the morning.
When?
In the morning.
He said, my voice can you hear?
Shall you hear?
Shall you hear when?
In the morning.
In the morning. Because that's when what's on the ground?
Dew.
The dew. And guess who covered in it? He is.
He is.
But you gotta open. Read.
O Yahuwah, in the morning will I direct my prayers unto you.
In the morning I'm going to do what?
Direct my prayers unto you.
I'm going to direct my prayers to you. Read.
And will look up. For you are not a Elohim that have pleasure in wickedness. Neither shall evil dwell with you.
He said you don't have pleasure in wickedness. So let me ask y'all a question. This is completely rhetorical. Are most of your prayers apologies? Sorry, Father, I know I did this. Sorry, Father, I know Sorry, Father. I apologize. Can you forgive me, Father? If this is what fills most of your prayers, your prayer life and your actual life ain't measuring up. How many times did you see Mashiach praying and apologizing for what he did? Huh? Your prayer life and your actual life have to coexist. You can't be saying that I'm a believer, and every time you go to pray to him, it's an apology. What are you apologizing for? Something you did wrong. But like I was talking to a couple of the ox, when you're a man, all of your actions are supposed to be intentional. Everything that you do is supposed to be intentional, not having to apologize for because it's your fault. You're supposed to move intentionally. I know what I'm doing. And as a sinner, you know what you're doing too. You know when you're doing wrong. And you know you're going to have to apologize to him. So sometimes even when you go to pray, you don't even want to even... Huh? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Because I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. Right? That guy that was praying next to that Pharisee, when he says, I'm a sinner. It said he went home what? Justified. But it wasn't because he kept coming and saying it. Right? Make your actions intentional. Read.
For you are not an Elohim that have pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with you. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
He does what?
Hateth all workers of iniquity.
But he gonna forgive me. If I just come and I pray to him, he gonna forgive me. Again, there's a situation that we gonna go over where you gonna see this ain't the case. But there's a reason why he's banging on your heart, on your door every morning asking for you to let him in. Because if you let him in at the first, he may dwell with you all day. What verse you at?
Verse 6.
Keep reading.
Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. Yahuwah will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come into the house in the multitude of thy mercy, and in the fear will I worship toward the Kodesh temple. Lead me, O Yahuwah, in thy righteousness because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face.
All of these is his prayers when? In the morning. I know what my day gonna consist of. I know what's about to transpire out here. Protect me. Right? Let's go back to that Songs of Solomon chapter 5. Pick it up in verse 2 again.
Songs of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 2. I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh, saying, open to me, my sister, my love. I want y'all to
understand, every time we go here, I want you to get it. In the morning, when he come, he's saying to you, open to me. If you miss that appointment, you're missing out on the dude. Read.
Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is filled with dew.
My head is filled with dew, and what?
And my locks with the drops of the night.
All right, let's look into this dew a little bit more. Get Judges chapter 6. Let's just solidify the fact that it comes in the morning. Judges 6 and pick it up at verse 36. Yep, 6 and 36.
Judges chapter 6 and 36. And Gideon said unto Elohim, if thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and if it be dry upon all the earth besides, then shall I know that thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said.
So he's asking, Father, if you really gonna help us with this battle, if you really gonna save Israel, I'm gonna put this fleece out here on the ground. And if all the dew is soaked up into this fleece and not nowhere on the ground, I'm gonna know the truth. Right? Let's see what happened.
Verse 38, and it was so, for he arose up early on the morrow.
He rose up when?
Early on the morrow.
Why would he raise up early on the morrow? Because that's when the dew hit. That's when the dew hit. What happens if you wake up at noon? What happened? Read.
And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece through, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water.
A bowl full of what?
Water.
It's water. When it's together like that, it's water, right? Coming from the clouds, yeah? So in order for him to go and recover this fleece to see if the dew had fell, he had to go in the morning. Hosea chapter 6. Pick it up at verse 4.
Hosea chapter 6 and verse 4. O Ephraim, what shall I do unto you? O Judah, what shall I do unto you? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew, it goes away.
And as the early dew, it does what?
It goes away.
He said, your goodness is as what?
Is as the cloud.
And what?
As the morning cloud, and as the early dew, it goes away.
Your goodness do what?
Goes away.
It go away. So the dew comes at what time? And eventually what happens? It goes away. So if you don't make it to the appointed time, what's going to happen? You're going to miss it. Let's go back to Songs of Solomon chapter 5. Pick it up at verse 2 again.
Song of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 2. I sleep, but my heart wakes. It is the voice of my beloved that knocks, saying, open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled.
Open to me. Read.
For my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night. I have put off my coat. How shall I pull it on? I have washed my feet. How shall I defile them? My beloved put in his hand by the hole of the door.
So all of this is going on in her mind that she's thinking is, remember, she's still laid out in the bed, but she knows what's going on. She's saying this up to herself in her heart. Just like in the morning when if I get up right now, I can make me something to eat. Right? But then you be like, nah, I'm too tired. I just snooze. Right? She snoozed him. And then he put his finger in the door. And what happened?
And my bowels were moved for him.
They were what?
Were moved for him.
Dang, I messed up. Because she know what that means. He ain't knocking no more. What'd he do? Put his finger in the door. He's not banging on the door no more. Read.
I rose up to open to my beloved.
Now I rose up to open to my beloved. And what happened?
And my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet-smelling myrrh upon the handles of the lock. I opened to my beloved.
Yeah.
But my beloved had withdrawn himself.
He had what?
Had withdrawn himself.
Because the dude eventually does what? It goes away. If you don't open when he wants you to open, it goes away. he goes away. You don't get the luxury of not answering when this man done made a trip to you and you won't open. You got to wait till the next time he comes. Oh, just catch it at the noon. Nah. We gonna see something. Before we finish that point, this dew on a natural level is used as a tool to grow crops. Right? Pull up that joint I sent you. We're about to read something real quick. Yeah, that part. And then, this part. Read that part right there.
Okay, dual nature of dew. Researchers measure the effects of dew on desert plants.
On what type of plants?
On desert plants.
Remember we was talking about what the dew does on the dry ground, right? So what does the dew do to the desert plants? The dew.
Dew is often celebrated as a bringer of life.
A what?
A bringer of life.
A what?
A bringer of life.
So when he says, I give you the dew of Shamayim, what was he kind of telling you about? Abundance of life. Right? Can you read?
Now, a researcher in Israel has examined the effects of dew in the eastern Mediterranean region and says that dew serves as an important water source for plant life.
Yeah, Professor.
Now, Professor Pinahas Alpert of Tel Aviv University Department of Geophysics and Planetary Science has developed an explanation for the perplexity paradox with his colleagues. According to the scientific literature, he says.
So basically, they didn't understand how this dew worked. They didn't get how it was operating in the desert. Read.
Dew that accumulates through the night has a negative effect on vegetation and fruits because it creates a spongy effect.
This is what they thought before. Read.
But in a recent issue of the Water Resources Journal, Professor Alpert demonstrates that dew is an important water source for plant life in climates such as those in the eastern Mediterranean and parts of the U.S. Great Basin Desert, semi-arid zones, and dry for over half the year. He explains, dew is therefore an important resource of moisture in the air. It surrounds the plant's leaves nearly every morning for approximately 2 or 3 hours past sunrise.
Every what?
Every morning.
Every what?
Morning.
They know it coming in the morning. Read.
For approximately 2 or 3 hours past sunrise. This finding, he says, explains why dew is such an important part of certain traditions, creating the ideal condition for growth. A plant's growth is based on photosynthesis, employing stomata, the smell opening in the vegetation, and fruit leaves that absorb carbon dioxide. The combination of water, carbon dioxide in the air, and sunlight helps the plant to produce sugars, which allows it to grow.
So in order for a plant to grow, it needs sun, what else? And water. What happens if there's an absence of water? It dies. So the thought process would be plants can't survive where? in the desert. But then there was dew. Right? Give me Isaiah 53 and verse 1. All right. Jump back over to Songs of Solomon chapter 5.
Isaiah 53 and 1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant.
He shall grow up before him as a what?
As a tender plant.
As a tender plant where?
As a tender plant, and as a root.
As a what?
As a root.
As a what?
Root.
Where?
Out of dry ground.
Out of what ground?
Out of dry ground.
As a what?
As a root.
Out of what?
Out of dry ground.
A root out of dry ground. And he was going to do what? Grow. How? What comes down in the morning? Songs of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 2. Again.
I sleep, but my heart waketh. It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh, saying, Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is filled with the dew, and my locks with the drops of the night.
His head was filled with what?
With the dew.
So how did this root get brought up in dry ground? The dew. The dew was the miracle. Right? So let's check this out real quick. Jump over to the book of Daniel chapter 4. Because what the dew does is allows a growing process. It allows a growing process. Let's see something. Daniel chapter 4 and verse 33.
The book of Daniel chapter 4 and verse 33. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar.
So right here, Nebuchadnezzar was going through some issues where he had dissed the Most High and said that his kingdom was his and he created it, he built it. The Most High said, that's cool. I'm going to have you sleeping outside for a while. Right? So what happened? He said, in the next hour, what happened?
In the same hour.
The same hour, I'm sorry. He was quicker than that.
In the same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen. And his body was wet with the dew of Shamayim.
His body was what?
Wet with the dew of Shamayim.
His body was wet with the dew of Shamayim. And what happened?
Till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers.
Till his hairs were what?
Grown like eagle's feathers.
So this dew in turn caused this man's hair to do what? No more road game, brothers. Just sit outside at night. Let the dew come down. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but right here it showed that the dew was the reason why his hair had grown so much. So what is the dew in the morning supposed to do for you? Cause you to what? So if you feel stagnant in your walk, maybe you need to pay attention to your prayer life. Because if the dew is supposed to help you grow and you ain't growing, you ain't opening up. Something ain't right. When something ain't growing, it's what? It's dying. If he's coming in the morning to continue to bring you life, how could you be stagnant if you don't open? Right? Hosea chapter 14 and verse 3. So we look at the children of Israel as a whole and we say, what happened? We stop opening up to him. But the only way as a whole we stop doing it is if we stop doing it what? Individually. Right? Hosea 14. Pick it up at verse 5.
The book of Hosea chapter 14 and verse 5. I will be as the dew unto Israel.
But he told you I'm going to be what?
As the dew unto Israel.
I'm going to be as the dew to Israel. Read.
He shall grow.
He shall what?
He shall grow.
He shall what?
He shall grow.
He shall grow. Read.
As the lily.
As the who?
As the lily.
Oh my goodness. There go that lily again.
That rose though, I'm a rose.
That's your favorite flower? Who switched their favorite flower the last couple of weeks? Hey, brother do roses though, bro.
I don't care what he say. I like roses.
Hey, for our single sisters, if a dude bring you roses, just he ain't right. He ain't right. He off. My elder said.
That brother off.
Hey, you send him a text. Hey, if you gonna bring me something, you bring me some lilies. Right? But he said that he gonna cause Israel to grow. Right? From the what? The dew. And if he's gonna do this for us collectively, that means that he'll do it for us what? Individually. It said that dew brought life. Right? Mashiach, it says that in him was the what? The life of what? Men. He's the way, the truth, and the what?
The life.
All right. Keep reading.
I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. His branches shall spread. His beauty shall be as the olive tree.
He said, I'm going to make you beautiful in the same way that he did us in the beginning. Right? In Ezekiel chapter 16, he said, I saw you. You was polluted in your blood. And I spread my skirt over you. And I made your hair to grow and your breast to fashion. I decked you in the sweetest jewels. I put the best clothes on you. Right? He did that, right? But what did we do? We turned our backs on him. Right? A lot of times we get to the point where we don't open up to him. And then when comes a time of issue in our life, then we want to go through and we going to make sure we get up in the morning now because I'm going through it. When you going through an issue and you want him to intercede, you up early. Father, please, I need this job today, Father. If you could just get me this job. You'll be up 8 hours early to go to the interview when you're trying to get something, but once you got it, you're like, I can be 5 minutes late today. It's only a half a point. Huh? Right? Some people schedule their lateness. Right? But I'm going to ask y'all, do you think that he's going to continue to stay there? Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1, pick it up at verse 21.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, at verse 21. She cries in the chief place of concourse.
Start at verse 19.
Verse 19. So are the ways of every one that is greedy of gain, which is taken, which takes away the life of the owners thereof. Wisdom cries without.
Who?
Wisdom cries without.
Wisdom cries without. What is our wisdom? The law. Who is the law? Mashiach. So we understand who it's talking about, right? Read.
Wisdom cries without. She utters her voice in the streets.
What is wisdom trying to do?
She
crying to you. Open up. Receive me. Read.
She cries in the chief place of concourse. In the openings of the gates.
In the openings of the gate. What's the openings of the gates? Entry. Right? At the what? The door. Read.
In the city she utters her words, saying, How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning?
I'm trying to be the dew for you. How long you gonna not answer the door? Let's see, keep reading.
And fools hate knowledge.
They do what?
And fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof.
Do what?
Turn at my reproof.
Turn at my reproof. Just open. You know that time when you really, really don't want to whoop your kids and you say, "Come, I'm not going to whoop you. Come here. I'm not going to whoop you this time. Turn at my reproof." Read.
Behold, I will pour out my ruach unto you.
I'm going to do what?
Pour out my ruach unto you.
I'm going to pour out my ruach unto you. Sound like something. Right? Read.
I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and you refuse.
But because I called and you what?
And you refuse.
You ain't come to that door. I'm trying to get you the word. I'm trying to get you salvation. But because I called and you ain't come answer the door. Read.
I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded.
I stretched out my hand to you and you don't care. Read.
But you have set at naught all my counsel and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity.
What happened?
I will mock when your fear comes.
When you going through it, I'm going to laugh. Read.
When your fear comes as desolation.
When it comes as what?
As desolation. And your destruction comes as a whirlwind.
Yeah.
When distress and anguish comes upon you.
My Yah wouldn't do that to me. He would if you don't open. Read.
Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early.
They shall do what?
Seek me early.
Now you want to seek me early. But what's going to happen?
But they shall not find me.
You're not going to find me this time. Because when I came to you, and I dang near was begging you to open up to me, you wouldn't. But now you going through what you're going through. Now you going to try to come early to me. I ain't getting up for you. I'm tired. My feet just been cleaned. What if he flip it on you? You make sure you seeking him now. When he told you to. As opposed to when you think you need him to. A lot of times when we get up, we leave the person that gave us the catapult. Right? But then once we in turmoil, now I'm about to turn my life back to the Most High. I fell off for a minute, brother. But I'm back. All right, brother. All praises to the Most High Yah. You don't see you for another couple months. Don't think I'm falling off too far. I'm back. Right? You got to understand. It's going to be a time where he ain't having it. Right? So if the scriptures say that he's the dew, and the dew comes in the morning, it also calls him the what? The morning what? Morning star. So if he's the morning star, that would make you the children of the light. And if you're not the children of the light, then you are the children of the... So if you can't get up to 12 o'clock, something might be a little wrong. He said the children of the evening. Get drunk and party every single night. You don't wake up until noon. Right? You call off at like 4 in the morning. You know that. I'm not going to call right. Right? 1 Thessalonians 5:22. We almost finished. We just got a couple days to go through.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 22.
Yeah.
Abstain from all appearance of evil. And the very Elohim of peace.
Abstain from all evil.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Y'all catch that? The appearance of it. If it looked like a duck, even if you don't think it's a duck, somebody else is watching you. So if it looks evil to somebody else, then they may consider it evil. For example, fellas, at the end of our functions, we had a wine sitting on the table, right? There was a person that came in, and because they don't understand that, you know what I'm saying, it's okay to drink wine and whatever have you, it just looked like we was up here like a bunch of winos. On our concert we threw, we had one of our dear brothers was in the camera with the bottles. Celebrate, nah man. Somebody looked at that video and said, I can't do this. Because that right there ain't right. No matter what you say. So that took somebody from not wanting to do this walk, because a brother was holding a bottle up and there was an appearance of what? Because they see it everywhere else. Ain't nothing wrong with having the wine bottles in the back and you going to get your cup filled up. Huh? The appearance, right? Because this is what makes you a part of the children of the what? Does light ever resemble darkness? Can they ever mix? No. There's no such thing as light mixing with darkness unless you're talking about the transition. Either you coming from the dark into the light, or you in the light and going to the dark. Right? Ephesians chapter 5, verse 8. Well, that's it on that.
Ephesians, the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 8. For you were sometimes darkness.
I know you was darkness before. Read.
But now.
But what?
But now.
But yesterday.
But now.
But tomorrow.
But now.
But right now, what?
Are you light?
Are you light? Right now you light. Maintain it. Read.
But now are you light in the master. Walk as children of light.
Do what?
Walk as children of light.
Walk as the children of the light. If you start your day off in the dew, with the morning star, letting him in, being filled with the light, then your day shall go the same way. But if you started off wrong, you know, somebody say, brother, you must have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. That means you ain't had the Most High in you this morning. Because he's supposed to give you a sense of peace. Cast your burdens on me. Right? Romans 13:12. I want to get to something, so we're going to pick this up a little bit.
Romans chapter 13 and verse 12. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness.
All of those bad habits that you had going on, do away with it. Remember, it's not just the evil, it's the appearance. Do away with it. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it. Don't try to be something that you're not. Don't appear to be something that's in the world. Because somebody on the outside is going to look at you just like you in the world. No matter what Bible scriptures you tell them. That won't matter. They looking at what you do, not what you say. You never look at what somebody say. There's a small thing called a lie that was introduced into the world that plagued everybody. That caused me to say, what you doing? Not what you saying. Right? So he says, cast off the works of darkness. Read.
Therefore, cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light.
Put on the what?
The armor of light.
You arm yourself in the morning for the day. He says we battle spiritual wickedness and what? So you have to arm yourself, but you can't arm yourself in the middle of the battle. You have to arm yourself when you started. Oh yeah, that's the reverb on the joint. All right, let's look at something real quick. Jump over to Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 19. Cole, you get Psalms 128 and verse 3.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, and verse 19.
So if we seen the dew in the Songs of Solomon, we see it in the New Testament, we see, where else should the dew be? The dew be? In the where? In the law. Right? Raise your hand if you think we can find the dew in the law. You know it got to be in there. Right? Where I got you at, B?
Jeremiah 2 and 19.
Jeremiah 2 and 19. Let's get it.
Your own wickedness.
Your what?
Your own wickedness.
Your own wickedness, children of Israel. Read.
Shall correct you.
Shall do what?
Shall correct you.
Read.
And your backslidings.
And your what?
Your backsliding.
Shall what?
Shall reprove you.
Your backsliding's gonna reprove you. Read.
Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that you have forsaken Yahuwah your Elohim.
So when we talking about your, read verse 19 again.
Your own wickedness shall correct you.
How is your own wickedness going to correct you? What does that mean? You're going to reap what you sow. I already told you, if you do this, this going to happen. Right? There's nothing extra he got to do. Right? You're going to be corrected in your own wickedness. Right? I'm going to allow that calamity to come on you. And I'm going to let it happen to you. In that, you'll realize you're supposed to turn your ways. Right? Indeed. Right? Verse 20.
Verse 20. For of old time I have broken your yoke.
I did what?
I have broken your yoke.
I broke your yoke. I broke those bands, that slavery you was going through, those captivities, I took them away from you. I broke those things for you. Read.
For in old times I have broken your yoke and burst your bands. And you said, I will not transgress.
Then you said to me, I'm not going to transgress no more. You got us out of Egypt. Everything you say, we will do. You got us from the Philistines. Everything you say, we will do. You broke us away from them. Everything you say, we will. Every single time. So he's saying, you telling me after I broke your yoke, after I freed you, you told me, and I'm not going to transgress no more. Father, if you just get me out of this one situation, never going to sin again. If you break me out of this, I'm never going back to her a day in my life. I'm never going over there. I'm not dealing with them dudes no more. If you just get me out of this one. If you get me away from this jail sentence, Father, I promise I'm going to turn my life to you. How many times you think he heard that? And even still, he was coming and he was knocking on that door. He still was coming and knocking on that door. Because he had no pleasure in the death of him that what? I want you to turn around. But you can't sell me wolf tickets, man. Read.
I will not transgress when upon every high hill and under every green tree you wandered.
But you went under every green tree. You was wandering all over the place. Read.
Playing the harlot.
Doing what?
Playing the harlot.
Playing the harlot. Read.
Yet I had planted you.
Yet I did what?
I had planted you.
I planted you. I know where I put you. I planted you. I know what type of plant you was. Yeah. If you plant some greens, what you expect to grow? What'd he say?
Yet I had planted you a noble vine.
A what?
A noble vine.
I planted you a noble vine. And then what is the dew supposed to do? Cause it to what? Grow, right? Read.
Holy, a right seed.
I made you a right seed. I know what I planted. Read.
How then?
How what?
How then?
How then what?
Are you turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
You turned into a degenerate plant. You strange to me now because you're doing your own thing. Read.
For you were washed. No, I'm sorry. For you washed.
For you do what?
For though you wash.
Now, what waters the plants in the morning? The dew. If you don't open up, then you're refusing the what? The dew. So in order to get yourself clean or to grow, you still need some type of what? Water. He said you was a degenerate plant. He said, for though you do what?
For though you wash you with nitre and take thee much soap, yet
you trying to clean yourself up on your own. I see what you're trying to do. You trying to make yourself look like you made that appointment. You going after your own righteousness. When your righteousness is what? Filthy rags. You need mine. I planted you. Read.
For though you washed you with nitre and take thee much soap, yet your iniquity is marked before me.
Yet your what?
Your iniquity is marked before me.
You still dirty. I still see you. No matter how much soap you try to put on you, I still see the iniquity. The only thing that can take away that iniquity is his due. Because he the one who planted you. Right? So when he says he planted you, we talking about this thing from the beginning. We got to understand that salvation was given to us from jump. So where do we see the dew in the beginning? Genesis chapter 1 and 1. Let's set something up real quick.
The book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim created Shamayim and Eretz. And the earth was without form and void.
And what was on the face of the deep?
And darkness was on the face of the deep.
Darkness is on the face of the deep, right? Read.
And the Ruach of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters.
And what did he say?
And Elohim said, let there be light.
So what did he introduce here? Light, right? What will we call that light that gets introduced that outside of the darkness? Morning, right? Good morning, right? So we have this morning that took place. Genesis chapter 2. Pick it up at verse 4.
Genesis 2 and 4. These are the generations of Shamayim and of the earth when they were created. And in the day that Yahuwah Elohim made the earth and the Shamayim and every plant and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahuwah Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth.
He didn't cause it to what?
To rain upon the earth.
It didn't rain. So we ain't talking about rain here. Read.
And there was no man to till the ground.
Go ahead.
But there went up a mist.
A what?
A mist.
There went up a what?
A mist.
A what?
A mist.
What was that mist, y'all? The dew. And what happened?
From the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground.
And what happened?
And Yahuwah Elohim formed man.
He did what?
Formed man.
He formed man from the dew. Huh? He formed man from the dew. He caused our very existence to come from the dew. But you won't render to him what's due? It don't make sense. Your very existence thrives on the dew. So how dare you not open up to him in the morning? Jump over to Jeremiah, the 7th chapter. Pick it up at verse 1. It's called, give me Exodus chapter 32 and verse 6.
Say Jeremiah 7.
Jeremiah 7 and verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, stand in the gate of Yahuwah's house and proclaim there this word, and say, hear the word of Yahuwah, all you of Judah that enter in at these gates to worship Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Trust you not the lying word, saying, the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah are these.
You said y'all trust in what type of words?
Lying words.
Lying words saying what?
The temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah are these.
So you got people preaching out here, right? Saying they preaching the word, saying the temple of Yahuwah, the temple of Yahuwah, the kingdom coming, the kingdom coming. But what they preaching to you is they preaching to you lies. Right? There's a lot of people out here doing that. Right? But let's see what it say.
For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between man and his neighbor, if you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other elves to your hurt, then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. Behold, you trust in lying words. You trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery?
You preaching all this stuff, but will you steal? Will you murder? Will you commit adultery? When you out here telling people about the goodness of the Most High, are you doing the opposite of what you talking about? Remember what Israel got caught up with? Are you telling me about this guy? But look how you doing him, right? Read.
Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other elves whom you know not? And come and stand before me in this house.
Then you go come before me in my house? You telling them to do one thing, you doing the opposite, and then you go come stand before me in my house and do what?
Which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations? In this house? Which is called by my name?
You doing differently than what you speaking. Which means you telling me that I'm allowing you to do this stuff right before my eyes. Read.
In this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, saith Yahuwah. But go you now unto my place, which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first, and see what I did to it for the wickedness of my people Israel. And now, because you have done all these works, saith Yahuwah, I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking. But
I spake unto you what?
Rising up early and speaking.
When was he coming to talk to them? Early. That's what make it worse. Because I actually came in and spoke to you. But you doing all of this wicked stuff, right? Read.
But you heard not. I called you, but you answered not.
I did what?
Called you, but you answered not.
I called you, but you didn't answer. Read.
Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein you trust, and unto the place which I gave you and to your fathers, as I have done in Shiloh. I will cast you out of my sight.
I will do what?
Cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore pray not you for this people.
Ain't no more praying for this people at this point. I cast them off. You wasn't listening to me when I was talking to you. You wouldn't open up to me when I was knocking. We don't want to be in that spot. We don't want to be in that position. Right? Jump over to Exodus chapter 32 and verse 6.
The book of Exodus chapter 32 and verse 6.
Let's look at something else real quick before we close it up.
And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings.
So the burnt offerings and peace offerings happen when? Early in the morning. I wonder what else came down. Something early. Let's see. Exodus chapter 16. Pick it up at verse. Hold
16:13.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 13. And it came to pass at even, the quails came up and covered the camp. And in the morning, the dew lay round about the host.
So we got, in the evening, what came?
The quails.
The quails. This is in the middle of the what? Right? Quails came at night. Yeah?
Yep.
This was a what? To the children of Israel. A blessing. Yes? What time did David say he was going to pray? Okay. So the quails came. Then what happened? Yeah, keep reading.
Verse 13.
Verse 13.
And it came to pass that at evening the quails came up and covered the camp.
So what would they be praying for right here? At this particular time? They would be giving thanks, right? Read.
And in the morning.
And in the morning, what happened?
The dew.
The what?
The dew.
The what?
The dew.
The dew came down first. And then what?
Lay round about the host.
Uh-huh.
And when the dew.
And when the dew, that what?
That lay was gone up.
What happened?
Behold, upon the face of the wilderness.
That was what?
There lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost, on the ground.
So, what came up after the dew left? Manna. But why did he mention that the dew came first? He didn't have to say that. All he had to say was, and in the morning I put the manna out there. Right? Because he was blessing the ground. In the morning, right? Read.
Verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. Mm-hmm. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which Yahuwah have given you to eat. This is the thing which Yahuwah have commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating. So what happened if they didn't make it out there on time to get it? They missed it. Just like that dew. You miss it. He the manna. He's the dew. You got to understand that when he comes and he's knocking, he wants you to open to receive the blessings. But if you never receive them, right? Let's go ahead and get ready to close this thing on up. Get Hosea chapter 13 and verse 3. The book of Hosea chapter 13 and verse 3. Therefore they shall be as the morning cloud and as the early dew that pass away. So at one point in time he's telling you you're going to be like the dew that pass away. Right? Jump over to Hosea chapter 5 verse 15. Hosea 5 and 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face in their affliction. Seek his face when? They will seek me early. They're going to seek him when? Early. They're going to seek him early. We in our offense. We in the place of our calamity. He's given us an opportunity to do what? Seek him. Right? Jump over to Hosea the 6th chapter again. Verse what? Pick it up at verse 4. Hosea 6 and 4. O Ephraim, what shall I do unto you? O Judah, what shall I do unto you? For your goodness is as the morning cloud, and as the early dew it goes away. Mm-hmm. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. I have slain them by the words of my mouth. He said he hewed them by the what? By the prophets. I hewed them by the prophets. When do you think he hewed them? Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 4. Jeremiah chapter 25 at verse 4. And Yahuwah have sent unto you all his servants, the prophets,
When?
rising early and sending them. But you have not hearkened.
So he even sent the prophets in the same manner that he would come to you. Early. In the morning for you. But he said, we are the children of those that did what to the prophets? That killed them. So if we gonna kill the prophets that he sent, what would be the reason for us to open the door? No reason, right? Proverbs chapter 8, verse 17.
Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 17. I love them that
do
love,
what?
I love them
I love them
that love me,
that love me, and what?
and those that seek me early shall find me.
The ones that seek him early, them the people that's gonna find him. Those are the ones that have right to what he's offering as a blessing. Songs of Solomon 5 and 1, and then we gonna close out with one more.
Songs of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. I am come unto my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drank my wine with my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved. I sleep, but my heart wake. It is the voice of my beloved that knocks, saying, open to me. My sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled, for my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night. I have put off my coat. How shall I put it on?
Don't be her. He came as the dew before, he gonna be the dew again. Hosea chapter 14, we gonna close it off on this. Start at verse 4.
Hosea 14 and 4. I will heal their backsliding.
I will heal their what?
Their backsliding.
That backsliding half of them.
I will love them freely, for my anger is turned away from him.
He said he gonna what?
Love them freely, for my anger is turned away from him. I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon.
Read.
His branches shall spread, and his beauty shall be as the olive tree, and his smell as Lebanon. They that dwell under his shadow shall return. They shall revive.
They shall what?
Revive.
Why they gonna revive? Because of the dew. They gonna revive and what? As the what?
As the corn, and grow.
And
as,
the what?
And grow as the vine. The scent thereof shall be as the wine of Lebanon.
So we understand, if we just open up, there's a whole heap of stuff he want to give to us. But if we don't, and he goes away, he not going to answer you when you try to seek him. He says, seek me while I may be found. He's not going to always be found. Make sure you're doing the right thing now to prepare you for later.
Now and later.
So that morning routine, that late wake up, make sure you incorporate the Most High. Because he knocking. It's the time that he don't that you should worry about. With that, I say shalom.
Woo! The return.
Stop it.
The return.
Stop it.
The return. See that? See how much sense this stuff make? When it's put in its context, everything makes sense. Right? Let me say something right quick. So, if you don't open up to Yah, right? Remember the lesson about the two trees? It's always the other one that's there as well, right? So if you don't open to Yah, who there waiting for you?
The other one.
Oh, the other one there, right? So now when you get out late and you rushing and that old lady or whoever in front of you blocking you up and you saying, man, move out the way, you know I got to be to work. Right? And you speeding behind them and doing all of this stuff and about to hit people in the back. All tailgating and all that stuff. You doing that to yourself, right? So now your day going terrible. Because you already started it out backwards. Right? You started it out wrong off the rip. That's why we say, I'm not a morning person. That's an excuse, right? I'm not a morning person. Because you ain't got Yah in it. Right? That's why you come up with this stuff. I'm not a morning person. Because Yah ain't in it. And the other guy is in it. Right? So if you don't open to him, the other guy is waiting right there. Go ahead and sleep, my son. Go ahead and sleep. You waiting right there. So it's important, just like my eye just showing you. Get up. Stop hitting the snooze button. So you ain't rushing.
Right quick. Let me ask y'all something. Because you're supposed to seek him what time? Early, right? While he may be found. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, they went to the sepulcher looking for who?
See ya.
Where did they go?
Early
in the morning. While it was yet what?
Dark.
And guess what happened?
They found
him. They were the ones that saw him before he ascended. He spoke to them because they saw them. Imagine hadn't they got up early to do that. They would have missed him. They wouldn't have been able to tell the disciples he ascends to his Father. Think about this stuff. All right, questions?
Yeah.
In verse 6, but there went up from the midst of the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. While you were teaching, I was remembering that, and my question is the significance. I noticed the changeover. This was before the first great punishment that came upon the earth with the flood. The difference here being...
Hold it down, y'all, please.
From the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Do you know what the significance of the change? Because here it was, we hadn't had rain or things coming down before, but before Yah punished the earth, it was coming up out of the ground to water the whole face of the earth, and they didn't even need rain. So I was wondering about the spiritual significance of that changeover where it used to come up out of the earth.
I'm not quite understanding.
So is the question, why was it basically raining from the ground instead of the...
Well, I'm talking about that, you know, how there's so much in the word, and that kept sticking out in my mind, that the mist came up out of the ground. And I mean, even when I first learned about this as a child, I thought, oh, that's strange. It fed the whole earth, the vegetation and everything, and people, and they had never had rain coming down from Shamayim. It was coming up from the ground, and I just thought that was kind of an interesting note. That, and then the changeover came after the punishment.
So I haven't really studied into that. I'm not quite sure.
Just letting you know,
but off of the top of my head, what I'm thinking about is that there was no reason for the rain to come down if the dew was taking care of everything. You know what I'm saying? So now, when the rain was coming, when the rain actually came, it was in punishment. It was in lieu of a punishment. You know what I'm saying? So now that's where the rainbow come from. This is to show, hey, when the rain come down, this is to show you that I won't flood it no more. But I think that was just the result of the punishment. But I'm gonna look into it though. I can't really.
The thing that I was thinking, just right quick, what I was thinking as far as spiritually, Yah walked, his voice walked in the garden with them. His presence seemed like it was more here.
Yeah.
At that time, there wasn't that separation from man and Yah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was here, and it seemed like, okay, even getting the first man out of the earth, out of the earth and everything, that it seemed like everything was good here, and he could dwell with us. And then after their sin, it's almost like, hey, I'm hands off, but I will visit you.
Yeah.
From Shamayim, but then he was here with them. So that's kind of where my mind is going with that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a general idea. Pretty much where the dew came from, because Scripture says about the water being divided from the waters, and we know that the clouds, the dew really comes from the cloud, but we know at night the clouds come down to the ground, absorb into the ground. So that in itself could be basically where the dew is coming from. You know, it could be emanating off of the, you know, from the clouds and emanating back up from the ground in itself.
I know it's many different ways to pray. You know, you can pray laying down, walking, driving, it don't matter. But in the morning, do you think the Most High prefers for us to put our face in the ground? You know what I'm saying? Like our ancestors do when they get on their knees, and you know what I mean?
I don't necessarily. Well, I haven't seen anything where he says he prefers one way or another. But when you do see people putting their face in the ground, it was usually for mourning or for heavy, like right now intercession. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he prefers one way or another, but he's answered prayers in both. You know what I'm saying? He's answered prayer when people was walking, when people, you know what I'm saying, the whole nine. So, but I think that prostrating shows that he's like a supreme authority. That's why we don't kneel down to no other powers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's total submission. Your body is in total submission at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, I haven't seen where it's like a preference thing from the Most High, but you know, I would recommend it if you able.
It's definitely more showing your humbleness or humility, which is the opposite of that other thing that we trying to get away from. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
And then you gotta think like your appetite. You know what I'm saying? Like your spiritual appetite, right? Whatever you taking in is what you putting out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take in cheeseburgers and you know what I'm saying, and McDonald's and you know Popeye's chicken sandwich, like Mark mentioned, if you taking in all that stuff, garbage stuff, nasty, stinky stuff is gonna come out. So think about your spiritual appetite, right? What are you taking in? That's what's gonna come out. So when you looking at, like what the Ak was saying, with being humble before the Most High, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of what you putting out. You know what I'm saying? So if you taking in the humbleness of the Ruach and the scriptures, then being humble is gonna come up out of you. You know what I'm saying? So like he said, like it's super humbling. Total submission to the Most High.
Okay, basically you just answered as he was saying, the praying and bowing and stretching to the ground and stuff. But and then you also said, you know, in walking, like people, because I was in doing that, just walking, thank you, Lord, and saying my prayers. But then you're also supposed to bow on your knees, you know, as to stretch on the ground as well, right? Everyone should bow on their knees.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend bowing to the Most High. I mean, he's the supreme. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, like I say, if you're in a situation where you praying and you on the go, it's no harm, no foul. But if at any time you're able, you know what I'm saying? Give your body into submission to Him.
Brother, your knees are hurting tonight. You can bend on it. Okay, thank you.
Got anything else? All right.
That I think it's Deuteronomy 12:15 when he say you can eat clean and unclean. Break that down for me, Mark. I need some understanding on that.
Deuteronomy 12.
The roebuck and the heart or something like that.
Oh, I think you're talking about the feast.
Oh.
Those are fears and
Deuteronomy 12. What did you say? Deuteronomy 12 and
15.
15. Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 15, it says, notwithstanding, you may kill and eat flesh in all your gates, whatsoever your soul lust after, according to the blessing of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he hath given you. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and of the hart. So what he's saying is, oh, you about to go ahead.
So in this, a lot of people think that he's talking about you can eat something unclean in this passage, but it's not saying that. So he's saying, according to the blessing of Yahuwah thy Elohim, which he have given thee, the unclean and the clean may eat thereof. Then he give you two clean animals, of the roebuck and of the hart. So when he's saying the unclean and the clean may eat together, he's saying that the person that's on her menstrual cycle, or the man that's unclean from his issue, may eat of this right here, right?
Yep.
Exactly. It's the person that's unclean, not the animal. Don't y'all love when it makes sense?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So if this lesson has touched you and blessed you today, open your heart and open your wallet and bring your time money.
Wow. I do not
bring that time money.
I guess I've been gone too long. Y'all accepting tithes, not y'all paying. Oh man.
That brother got that old granddaddy in here. High at the bottom.
All right, one question on the chat, it says, are we considered gates?
Mashiach is the gate.
Yeah, he's the gate. He's the door.
You might lead them to the door or the gate.
Where does the white skin come from? The white skin people.
He created them all.
I agree with that. All right, I think that's it. For the chat, that's it in here. We good? Let's go ahead and pray out.
Good. Johnny, turn that music on. You know it's a wrap.
Hey, Brother Amir.
Gently rest
try my stint at this Our Father prayer in Hebrew. So y'all bear with me. But we're gonna have our prayer by Sister Dominique. She's gonna pray us out. All minds clear? Hallelujah.
Abiyah, thank you for this time of prayer. We thank you for your word that's been brought forth. We just ask, Abiyah, that we all have received, Abiyah, and it fell on good ground, and that it will take root in our hearts, Abiyah, and that we will walk this thing out. We thank you for the correction that has been brought, Abiyah. We just ask that all, Abiyah, that have heard it will take it and apply it to their daily lives, Abiyah. We just thank you, Abiyah, for being so gracious upon us, for your mercy being upon us. We thank you for another opportunity to get it right, to hear your word, to fellowship together as brothers and sisters, Abiyah. We just ask that as the Shabbat ends, that we all, Abiyah, will leave this place with love in our hearts for each other, with a stronger foundation in you, with a greater connection for each other and the nation. We just ask that you just get us all home safe and sound without any hurt, harm, or danger, no hindrances, no accidents, Abiyah, to come our way, that we will be safe, and that as we go throughout our work week, as we encounter others, believers and non-believers, that we walk with this word with us, Abiyah, and that they see the light within us, Abiyah, and that you be glorified, you get the glory and the praise and the honor out of all of it, and let us wake up early and seek your face, Abiyah. For we are a family, and we want to see all of us in Shemayim, Abiyah. It's in Yahweh Shah HaMashiach's name we pray all these things, so be it.
So be it. Abinu Shabbat Shemayim. Ikadosh. Shemka. Tabo. Malkuka. Yease. Rasonka. Baaretz. Kashir, Naasha, Bat Shemayim, Teilanu, Hayom, Likim, Hikanu, Uslat, Lanu, 8, Ashmatenu, Kashir, Sokim, Anaknu, Lashir, Ashmu, Lanu, Wa'al, Tabinu, Lede, Masha, Ki, In, Hasalanu, Min, Hara, Ki, Laka, Hamamlaka, Wahagibora, Wahatifare, Lome, Ulami, so be it. Go ahead,
You're my life.
You're my life. Hey. You're my source, you're my strength, every